If you do not want to change, if you do not want to better yourself, if you do not want to break outside of this matrix, if you want to live in your comfortable delusion that they have built for you, do not watch these videos. Leave this channel. If you do not want any truth, don't want to understand, if you are not here to hear something that's outside of your own mind and accept others' minds and opinions and the way they think for themselves, so you're not belong. And finally, if you are not trying to be positive, if you are not trying to help create solutions while we discuss the problems and how they got here, you do not belong. Negativity, hate, disrespect, name calling, those things will not be allowed here on this platform, and not in this empire. We are the ones, the true Americans, that want to be free and stand as we have always stood.
Every time you hear it tripping like that shit sounds bizarre. Your favorite rapper try hard, still is a mark. Still like the fuel to the game, watch it spark. My lines burn like blunts getting smoked in the dark. Hella cooking shit up if your ass wanna spar. Barbecue your beef up like the seats in my car. Cool yourself off refrigerator and jar. Baby rappers be not like this is not an art. You forgot about that part. Lady rappers been acting like this is not an art. You forgot about that part. Alright guys, we have been here today. You already know what time it is. I'm tired, I don't feel good right now. And then they increased the price on the AI stuff, so now the AI helpers that we're using or whatever, they're not as available. We have to pay money, more money for, like, you know, our in-depth things we were doing with the AI. A lot of these platforms are starting to not let you utilize their full potential of the AI without you paying for it. At this point, everybody's trying to make a cap and actually make money off of the AI right now. So now advancements are going to be much slower unless you're spending and shelling out all kinds of capital to try to keep up with the rich people making more rules for us and making it cost more money for us to actually try to do something. What that does is it incentivizes us not to actually try. I think that's pretty underhanded and dirty, but I really don't feel good today. Like, I really don't feel good. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I started getting back on my cleanse, and I started doing this, like, you know, parasite detox or whatever, or at least, like, you know, taking little bits of clove and oregano oil, right? And then a couple little things here and there, some topical stuff, and, like, drinking a lot of water, and all of a sudden I just feel like not good, you know. I think I got a fever, my throat hurts, but it could be something that I'm reacting to, because I kind of just dropped food randomly. So I just wasn't feeling hungry, but I've been trying to hold down soup and shit. So taking care of the body is very important, which is why they keep manipulating our food. Because if we're not eating the food that's gonna help us be at our optimal level, then we're basically surrendering a portion of our autonomy to them. And the fact that they're making it hard for us to just grow food and you know, live life just like regular people, I love Jesus is hard. That just breaks my heart. It's uncalled for. I really, really, I just want to lay down. But I had to come up here on live. You know, we did overtime today. Very long day. It had me at work 2 hours extra early, so 10 o'clock and whatnot. But shout out to everybody that be working. Shout out to everybody that did overtime. Without you, the world doesn't go round. Um, I'm just beat. If I sound like I'm out of energy and it's low energy, it's because like I'm done. I'm so good. And like now that the AI is harder to talk to and shit because it's quick response and you can't go expert or heavy um, without paying. I think it's like almost $40, $50 a month. And then like for Super Grok, it's like $300 a month. It's like it's crazy, bro. That's fucking crazy. It'd probably be a lot more accurate. And I think that's why everybody's having their little dumb problems with AI lately. Because with the new update, they lowered the capacity so that way we couldn't do things. It's because I've been having these really big, long, strange conversations, and the AI has been getting updated off of everything I feed it and everything you feed it. So philosophically, the AI probably flagged it and started talking about it and bothering the scientists and stuff about it, um, and bothering them about it. So they clamped down on that shit. Um, and that's how I know they're monitoring. I really don't feel good. I don't. Let me see. I'm gonna probably just do a short one too. Y'all don't want to see my face. But the right. So try to pull up the YouTube. They've been killing a lot of scientists that are making breakthroughs in technology. They've been killing all the scientists that have proved that God is real. Um, that's pretty much what I did on this one. And the fact that I figured it out and I'll put it out there. Now there's this clamp on the AI. So if you go to your Grok and you don't get to have any options, if you only get fast without paying, that was my bad. They don't want us to know the truth without paying for it. And then if you pay for it right, it's still gonna there's still a janky ass algorithm back there that's messing up everything you try to talk to about. So that's why there's an AI race. Everybody's racing to see who can build their system the quickest. And I think that's what this next war is over. I think not the one with Iran, but I feel like Iran doesn't understand that there is an AI war going on. Um, they're still stuck in the religious side of the war. Um, this is this is a lot today. I don't know. They took the AI away. It's not bad. I gotta pay for it now. I just gotta. Damn, they just want me to spend forever. I'm so tired of this fucking bullshit. But we gonna put something on real quick. I can't even think, y'all. I can't think right now. Can't even the draft, yeah, the draft was out there. Everybody was Cardinals came out pretty good. I'll give them that. Cardinals came out pretty good. Uh, Thought I was pulling some shit up, man. I had the story I wanted to look at. I clicked this shit. Whatever. Took me to something else. I'm just so tired. I want this. Thank you. All right. She gonna put this on here. Oh shit. I could have sworn I shared this shit. Hold up. My bad. I'm over here.
For both the U.S. and Iran are headed back to Pakistan but potential in-person negotiations remain up in the air tonight. Iranian officials denying reports of direct talks despite the White House saying otherwise. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner will attend the meetings in Islamabad with Vice President J.D. Vance on standby. That's according to the White House. As the U.S. continues to push Iran to the negotiating table, the chair of the Senate Armed Services Committee calling for the resumption of military strikes in Iran. Senator Roger Wicker posting on X saying in part, the time is over for negotiations with Iran. The president should direct military leaders to finish destroying its military capabilities and eliminate any last remnants of their nuclear program. This is the only way to ensure lasting stability in the region. Also today, President Trump extending his Jones Act waiver to ease energy costs as oil and gas prices remain at record highs. The price of a gallon of gas inching up to $4.06 nationally.
The Trump administration is putting economic sanctions on a large China-based refinery and about 40 shipping firms and tankers linked to Iranian oil transport. The action follows through on warnings of secondary penalties for entities doing business with Iran. Officials say the step targets Iran's main revenue stream, its oil exports. A Chinese official said the move undermines trade order and rules and infringes on the rights of Chinese companies. New details in the meantime, businesses are paying millions of dollars to move ships through the Panama Canal while the Strait of Hormuz is closed. The Panama Canal Authority says companies have paid as much as $4 million to bypass the key shipping route. Usually, passage through the waterway comes at a flat rate via reservations, while those without reservations pay an additional fee in an auction to cross. In recent weeks, costs have skyrocketed, resulting in many buyers avoiding the treacherous Middle East waterway.
ChatGPT, can I make money on Airbnb with $0?
Yes, you can make money on Airbnb with $0 through a new method called Airbnb.
All right. So we did with that. Let's see what they're talking about on this one.
Good evening, Brett. President Trump is extending the Jones Act shipping waiver. The Jones Act is a federal law requiring all goods transported between U.S. ports be carried on American-owned and crewed ships. The administration has waived that requirement through the middle of August. The extension comes as there has been little movement in the Strait of Hormuz, despite a ceasefire. 6 vessels have crossed in the past 2 days, and just 93 since this blockade began 11 days ago, according to Kepler. The U.S. says the blockade is ironclad and growing more powerful by the day. The Navy has stopped 6 ships carrying Iranian oil to squeeze their economy. The U.S. blockade on Iranian ports there and Iranian retaliation for it have kept ships anchored. The U.S.
We've seen some cargoes going for $4 million just to get through the Panama Canal. Historically, that cost is $200,000, $300,000. So clearly 20x in some cases getting through that Panama Canal. That's how much of a premium it is right now and how much demand has increased just in the last 2 months.
And what Navigator Gas is talking about is this bypass that global companies have taken to avoid the Strait of Hormuz. They are taking energy, cargo, and goods from the U.S., moving it west to Asia via the Panama Canal and paying a lot for that. As you heard, sometimes $4 million. As for the price of oil, it fell a bit today for the first time in 5 days, just about $95 the barrel. Brett?
Okay, Lauren, thank you. But first, breaking tonight, peace talks between the U.S. and Iran could be happening soon. The White House says envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner will go to Pakistan tomorrow. Iran's foreign minister and his team arrived in Islamabad earlier today. But the Iranian state media insists they are not there to talk with the Americans. We have Fox team coverage. Lauren Simonetti here in New York looks at what President Trump is doing to alleviate the oil crunch. But we begin with Lucas Tomlinson, live from the North Lawn of the White House. Good evening, Lucas.
Good evening, Brett. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says negotiations with Iran will resume this weekend after the Iranians called and requested another round of in-person talks in an attempt to bring this nearly 2-month-long war to a close.
The president is dispatching Steve and Jared to go hear what they have to say, and we're hopeful that it will be a productive conversation and hopefully move the ball forward towards a deal.
Iran's foreign minister posted on X, embarking on timely tour of Islamabad, Muscat, and Moscow. Purpose of my visits is to closely coordinate with our partners on bilateral matters and consult on regional developments. Our neighbors are our priority. There was no mention of meeting an American delegation. Ahead of the talks, the U.S. blockade of Iran remains in place. U.S. forces have forced 34 vessels, mostly oil tankers, to turn around or remain in Iranian ports. One day after President Trump ordered the military to destroy any Iranian boats laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz, top Pentagon brass issuing the following warning.
There are paths that are open, and part of what the president is threatening is ensuring if there's attempts to recklessly and irresponsibly lay more mines, we're going to deal with that. It's a violation of the ceasefires.
The Joint Force remains postured and prepared to recommence major combat operations on the order of the president.
For now, the Strait of Hormuz remains closed, with hundreds of ships stranded in the Persian Gulf. Former CIA Station Chief Dan Hoffman outlined what he thinks are Iran's goals.
Iran is cognizant that the United States military is going to win every single military engagement. But what Iran wants to do is exhaust us politically and economically and try to win the peace when and if we ever get there.
When the American delegation departs tomorrow for Pakistan, the vice president will not be joining them, making it unlikely that a final agreement will be reached. Brett?
Lucas Thomason, live on the North Lawn.
We're going to show you 13 mind-blowing use cases for creators using the new AI Workspace 2.0 from GenSpark.
Pretty extraordinary. For the first time since 2003, there are 3 U.S. aircraft carrier strike groups all operating in the Middle East at the same time, accompanied by their carrier air wings, by the USS Abraham Lincoln, the Gerald R. Ford, and the George H.W. Bush, all in the region, including over 200 aircraft, 1,500 sailors and Marines, according to CENTCOM. They bolster a remarkable show of force in the region right now. Take a look at this. These are our assets right now in the Middle East, lined up, surrounding the Red Sea, the Strait of Hormuz, the Persian Gulf, the Gulf of Oman, completely protected by American forces. Watch this.
If Iran is putting mines in the water or otherwise threatening American commercial shipping or American forces, we will shoot to destroy.
With that, we bring in retired Navy SEAL officer and former recon Marine Mike Sorelli. Great to have you here. His service includes, I should say, leading combat operations in Iraq. He is Chief Talent Officer at Overwatch Mission Critical, and it is an honor to have you with us. Thank you very much for joining us today, Mike. So, Mike, you wrote a piece today that was very interesting. I think it's really important for everyone to remember what happened in 1979, the last time the United States had a defensive interaction that really did not go well when Jimmy Carter tried to send in helicopters to recover the hostages who were being held at the embassy. The legacy of Eagle Claw, how failure helped build America's elite special forces, which you became part of. So when you look at this array of forces that we have in the Gulf right now, compared to that, sum it up for us in terms of how different this confrontation is, Mike.
Yeah. Martha, when you share that overlay, the disposition of our assets, the only thing I feel is fear. That's pure fear. That is a wrath that nobody should be on the receiving end of, and if they are, they're never going to forget it. But with this third carrier strike group, it adds combat power, mass, redundancy, or persistent operations tempo, and timely in terms of political pressure stepping into these talks in Islamabad. But you mentioned the amount of aircraft, 60 to 75 aircraft, destroyers, carriers, and that brings layered missile defense. It brings ISR and electronic warfare. It brings Tomahawks, and it brings logistical depth. So there are two purposes here. One, with this third carrier strike group, it increases the probability that we can open up the straits without disruption. But they're also prepared if these talks go back to bring hell. We have a saying: one carrier strike group will punish, two will dominate, and as I said, three brings a wrath that nobody should be on the receiving end of.
So what we see from Iran is continued aggressiveness, bluster. They have these small, fast boats, and everyone remembers the USS Cole. So with all of these ships in the region, it's still a very large body of water all around. So are we able to prevent them from laying mines? Can we sweep these mines? And can we prevent these small, fast boats from hitting and damaging or killing any of our people?
Can we? Yes. Will we? Yes. Does it take time? Absolutely. So, with the third carrier strike group, one, it allows them to sort of divide the straits, which is roughly anywhere from 3,000 to 4,500 square miles. That's a massive area. So, with the persistent ISR, the ability to identify, track, and then pass off the strike aircraft to remove these fast boats, it's what we've been doing in Venezuela, which is also a large body of water. So, Trump ultimately made the very command decision to add more assets to the region to increase our probability for success, while also preparing for reopening strikes if he makes that decision.
So here's the mine types. Let's put this up to show everybody what they have been working on. It appears they started to lay these mines in March, right after the February 28th attack. So, and the question of whether or not we should be taking out these small boats, the president said, that the Navy has obviously his orders to go ahead and take these boats out. This is an international body of water. You can't lay mines in the middle of it legally and get away with it, right?
No, in fact, that the global community is not up in outrage and sending their fleets to the United States. It's disappointing. But Iran has two real classes of mines. One is the Maham 1 and Maham 2, and you see it on the display. You've got moored mines, and then the ones that are more technologically advanced, a little nastier in nature, are the bottom influence mines that work off the acoustic or magnetic signature of the boat. But we have the assets. MH-60 Sierras with LiDAR. We've got unmanned both surface and subsurface vessels that can identify them. Send that location to the Navy that will then come in to destroy them. So we've got the capability. But to your point, it's a large region or a large body of water, and it just takes a little bit of time. It takes persistence, dedication, and commitment.
And with every passing day that this blockade is held, their oil production facilities are overwhelmed and start to dry up and be shut down, which is an enormous burden on what's left of their economy. Mike Sorelli, thank you very much. Great to have you with us, sir. Thank you for your service. Good to see you. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth blasting our European allies, accusing them of refusing to step up as the United States moves to secure the Strait of Hormuz, warning the days of free riding are over.
It's also worth saying, this should not be America's fight alone. Europe and Asia have benefited from our protection for decades, but the time for free riding is over. America and the free world deserve allies who are capable, who are loyal, and who understand that being an ally is not a one-way street. It's a two-way street. We're not counting on Europe, but they need the Strait of Hormuz much more than we do, and might want to start doing less talking and having less fancy conferences in Europe and get in a boat.
Get in the boat. Deputy U.S. Representative to the United Nations, Tammy Bruce, joins me now. Tim, great to have you with us. The meeting that he just refers to over in Europe, having conferences in Europe. This is a statement that came out of that meeting with the UK and France. The work is part of UK and France leadership for a multinational coalition to reopen the strait, which sounds kind of like they're going to get involved and try to get it open. But the words are very important here. The sessions will advance military plans to reopen the strait. But here's the operative phrase: as soon as conditions permit, following a sustainable ceasefire agreement. So we're happy to show up and help with a military plan, but only after things are totally calm.
Well, when the chips are down, you find out what you're made of. You find out what other people are made of. And I think that the president has said repeatedly, but it's a very strong statement, that of course he can do this by himself, but he shouldn't have to. That's the difference, is that he recognizes this, and this is why he wants the UN to succeed. He believes in people working together, in countries working together as a team. We have been doing it alone, and the president cares about that. He does it because it matters for the United States and our own security. But the fact is that we all have to deal with this. And he's been saying that from the moment he stepped into the Oval Office in the first term, telling NATO, you've got to have more defense spending. You've got to be able to contribute to NATO more, because otherwise Russia's going to eat your lunch. It's obvious, but we have carried the ball for a long time, and now it's recognized economically and otherwise that all of us have to do this together. President Trump is showing them how to do it, and most importantly, that it can be done. So you've got things that have not happened forever because people haven't either wanted the status quo to change or felt it couldn't be done. This is President Trump's leadership. He's showing them it can be done, and he shouldn't have to do it alone. We benefit from the Middle East being more at peace. The Gulf countries are coming together and are operating in a unified way. Europe can contribute and make a serious contribution to world peace and to the future if they recognize that they need to step
up. They're sitting on their hands. I mean, they don't seem to want to get involved. And there's also discussion and some reporting that maybe the dynamic with Spain will change. That maybe we should not. Maybe they shouldn't be part of NATO anymore. Maybe we shouldn't support a NATO that includes countries that are not supportive. Is that a real possibility?
Well, I won't speculate, even on hypothetical certainly. But what we do know is that when you've got a force that comes together to be a deterrent, everyone must work together. That it is a partnership. The president has shown people what partnerships can look like, along with our allies who have been helping us with the Hormuz Strait, with Iran, with the Gaza Strip, the War of Peace, the countries that have signed on to that as they link arms with us, because it means the world is safer.
Long story short, Europe got taken over. Europe got taken over by Islam, and they're paralyzed because the Islamic politics that are been embedded in those European countries right now. it's overwhelming, and they can't do anything because of legislation. So they've already been infiltrated, and until they fight that Sharia shit, they won't be able to take their government back. And anybody that believes in Sharia, they will probably have to get removed from the government seat. Because wouldn't that mean they're trying to implement that, or that's what they stand for? So I'm gonna call it for this one. I'm not gonna. I do appreciate kicking it with y'all. This was a cool little, smoke session, whatever, chilling. Have a good night, and now I'm about to shut the fuck up.
Get ready.
Checks in the mix where it's hella hot. We thirsty, so we snatch your water, go to Jelena. If that shorty is your daughter, she a hella thot. And her mama bombshell in the hella drop. Pop up with my niggas, got that killer cop. Sheriff Joe running quick, tryna blow my spot. On the road, riding dirty, got a district crop. Banging ass green grams, wait out on the dot. If Molly coming to the party, Lucy want me to pop. Juicy eye to eye, can you see mine's eye? Never mind, let me wine, dine, and dazzle your mind. If you're trying to catch up, then turn up behind. I carried on our date just to kumquat her grape. I got the appetizers and peach sliders for your plate. I kiwi all you palm slices. I got diced fruit for your fade. Okay, enough with your fruity pebbles, loops, or mini chips. We eating on that A1, saucing on them there. We real ones, we go-getters too. Go get those insides, pimps and hustlers, dude. Blowing smoke into the air. Fuck you, miss while we cruise. I don't play fair, but never break the rules. Smoking cigs and bottle rooms.
If you do not want to change, if you do not want to better yourself, if you do not want to break outside of this matrix, if you want to live in your comfortable delusion that they have built for you, do not watch these videos. Leave this channel. If you do not want any truth, if you don't want to understand, if you are not here to hear something that's outside of your own mind and accept others' minds and opinions and the way they think for themselves, you do not belong. And finally, if you are not trying to be positive, if you are not trying to help create solutions while we discuss the problems and how they got here, you do not belong here. Negativity, hate, disrespect, name-calling, those things will not be allowed here on this platform. And not in this empire. We are the ones, the true Americans, that want to be free and stand as we have always stood.